Hello everybody, in this video we will be going over the Gwen Q nerfs from 12.15. They came out about 2 weeks ago, so I'm a bit late, but I recently got into playing the champion and she is really fun, so I thought might as well do what I do best and make a math analytical video on her because, these nerfs are not very obvious. 75% true damage, 50% true damage, like what does that mean? It's not just a flat damage nerf, it's actually much more complicated. So I wanted to do an analysis video because I know some people were saying that they were killing the champion or that now you'd have to build magic penetration to be useful. And I don't think that stuff was true. At least that was my idea beforehand. So I just wanted to do an analysis and check to see if that was actually the case. So let's get into it. Important note, the nerfs only affect the flat damage from Gwen's Q. Everything else in her kit already did magic damage, including the passive procs from her Q. Those always did magic damage, so Gwen is not a percent max health true damage champion unless you build Riftmaker, but that kind of doesn't count. So everything did magic damage except for the flat damage on Q, so that's the only thing that was actually affected. So, going over the percentages, this is the flat damage only, the amount of damage you are losing from the nerfs. So against a target with 400 magic resist, we are losing 25% of our damage, which seems like a lot, but again, this is not accounting for the max health portion of the ability. So, this is a good start, but I wanted to dig in a little bit deeper and see in some, potential scenarios how it would actually work out. And this is where I get to the specific examples. So I made 4 different generic targets, stuff you might see in your games around this level. So you got the glass cannon target, 50 magic resist, 2000 health, pretty much just 5 offensive items. I'm going to be considering Gwen to have 650 ability power for this because, I just wanted to do full build. I think it's the easiest way to go about it. And Gwen is a late game champion anyway, so you should be trying to scale and hit full build either way. So we can see we lose about 5% damage against a glass cannon target, but again, the ability still does 1,000 damage. You're still half healthing an enemy with 1 Q, and then you're going to be autoing them a lot. So if you go to the squishy target, 75 magic resist, 2,500 health, a little bit, still maybe like a range champ with Merc Trez or something like that. We're losing about 7% of our damage, so it is getting pretty high. Bruiser target, minus 9%, and tank target minus 11%. Now this tank target, we're losing 11% damage, which is a lot, but, Gwen versus tanks, they're not going to be able to kill you anyway. They're not going to be able to escape from you. So, you're losing like half of an auto worth of damage against them per Q, which is not insignificant, but it's not going to really change how you fight tanks, especially with how much attack speed you have. So, the main thing I think is important is the bruiser target, because these are the targets that can actually fight back in melee range, and you're losing 9% damage against them. And if you can see here, it's about 100 damage per Q. That's probably like a third of an auto against them. So, it is a decent bit of a damage loss. It can really make an impact in those really close fights. But, if you're full build Gwen, most bruisers in the game, you're just going to absolutely steamroll. You're just going to steamroll everyone that you can get your hands on, as long as you're not permanently crowd controlled in a team fight or something. So the Gwen nerfs, they do seem somewhat impactful, but I don't think they're crippling in any way. You are losing a lot of damage late game against some of the tankier targets, but that's per Q. And so you still have your ult that's doing the same amount of damage. You still have your E. You have an insane amount of DPS just from your auto attacks alone. And so I don't think that the nerfs are actually that substantial. I think they are, they do mean a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And again, because of that, Void Staff or other sources of magic penetration, especially flat magic penetration like Shadow Flame or Sorcerer Shoes, I don't think is going to be very necessary any more than they were before the nerfs. So, if you were going to build Void Staff before, consider building, 3 magic resist items per person, that's still probably a good idea, but I wouldn't build it in a situation where I wouldn't have already built it before the patch. And the difference between the pre-nerf and the post-nerf, it actually goes down as you gain more ability power or the enemies gain more health. So the only thing that, makes the nerfs a bit worse for you is enemies having more magic resist. In any other scenario, the nerfs are actually going to be a bit less effective than they would normally be if you're getting more ability power or you have more, or your target has more maximum health. So overall, I mean, it's a decent damage decrease. 5% to 11%, depending on the target. But in most situations, you're still going to be melting through the tankier targets, and you're going to be one-shotting the squishier targets. And especially because Gwen's W gives so many resistances now, because that was one of the things that they changed a couple patches ago. I mean, you can get easily 70 to 80 magic resistant armor from that ability in the late game. And so you're extremely durable. And even though you lost a little bit of damage, your ult is still one of the most broken abilities in the game, in my opinion. At least from my experience, it's extremely strong. And yeah, I think Gwen, she did lose 1.5% win rate from 12.14 to 12.15, so maybe these nerfs are a bit more impactful than I'm really seeing here. Or maybe that could just be due to other reasons. But yeah, I just wanted to go over this. Maybe I'll do like an early game analysis or maybe like a second item analysis. If you guys want me to, I am open to these sort of videos if you guys want me to do the math on anything, because I do find this enjoyable. Maybe I'm just weird like that, but yeah. I wanted to do that quick video on a Gwen. She's really fun, so yeah. Nerfs don't kill her. I think she's pretty much the same as before. You just have slightly less damage than you would have normally done. So, anyway, if you guys like this video, you want to see more, please consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment. Any feedback would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed, thanks for watching.